Your emotions are quietly buying things. Long before logic arrives, a feeling has already chosen for you. You think you're picking the brand. Really, something softer made the choice before you reached the aisle. It's why spending sometimes feels strange. You hold the receipt later and wonder who exactly made that decision. By the end, you'll see the emotional logic running beneath your money choices. You'll feel calmer inside. Because this isn't really about discipline. It's about meeting the feelings, doing your shopping for you without judgment. Picture yourself in a store aisle holding something small. You don't need it, yet your hand won't release. There's no real thought there, only a soft pull. A whisper says this will make something inside feel better. That whisper is older than the store. It learned its words long before you earned your first dollar. It sounds like comfort, but it's really an old habit speaking, a habit your mind built to protect you. Most spending decisions aren't financial. They're emotional choices wearing financial clothing, so your mind feels in charge. You tell yourself it was on sale. You tell yourself you deserved it. Both can be true, hiding something. Underneath, there's a feeling looking for somewhere to land. Sadness, boredom, loneliness, or excitement with nowhere to go. Money becomes the doorway because money is available. A card, a tap, a click, and the feeling finally exits. It's the most acceptable release we have. We're allowed to spend even when not allowed to fully feel. Think of the last unplanned purchase you made. Before the moment of buying, what were you actually feeling inside? Was it a long day, a hard conversation, a quiet ache, or scrolling and comparing your life to others? The item wasn't really the item. The item was the shape your feeling took so it wouldn't stay invisible. This is why just budget better rarely lands. It speaks to numbers while ignoring the emotions behind the button. Your nervous system isn't reading a spreadsheet. It's reading safety, comfort, belonging, identity. Those are its hidden currencies. When you feel small, you may buy to feel bigger. When invisible, you may buy to be seen. When you feel out of control, a purchase feels like power. Something is finally yours on your terms. When you feel anxious, the rush of choosing distracts you. The discomfort gets a brief, satisfying intermission. When sad, a small treat says you matter. It whispers that someone, even just you, cares. When you feel disconnected, shopping becomes connection. To trends, to identity, to a self you're hoping to become. When uncertain, choosing offers a small certainty. The cart, at least, knows exactly what you wanted. None of this makes you broken. It makes you human, with a feeling system caring for you however it can. But somewhere, you were taught to use money for feelings, not only needs. That lesson started very early. Maybe a parent shopped when stressed. Maybe gifts arrived after arguments. Maybe love came wrapped. Silence sometimes came priced. Maybe spending was how care got expressed at home. So now, you spend on others to show love too. Maybe you grew up watching money soothe adults who couldn't name their feelings. Money became their translator, then yours. Or maybe you grew up with very little. Every purchase now carries the weight of finally being allowed nice things. These early scenes don't disappear. They settle inside as patterns, and your adult choices follow the same quiet path. You didn't choose this blueprint. You absorbed it the way a child absorbs language, before words existed for you. That's why earning more doesn't quiet the urges. The income changes. The inner imprint doesn't until you see it. Imagine sitting at the end of a long day. You're scrolling in bed, and your thumb slows unexpectedly. Within minutes, it's ordered. The relief is small, real, surprisingly familiar. Later, a flicker of guilt arrives, also familiar. That cycle, the ache-soothing guilt, isn't random. It's a tiny emotional ritual you've performed for years. And the guilt itself is part of the imprint. It tells you you don't deserve to feel relief easily. The purchase is the visible part. The feeling beneath is the part that truly matters and rarely gets explored. Curiosity is where everything begins to shift. Not judgment, not shame, just gentle attention to what's inside. Now picture another scene. Smaller and quieter. You're in the kitchen, refreshing the same shopping app for no reason. You're not looking for anything specific. Your hand needs something to do while the rest of you feels unsettled. That's not weakness. That's a clue. Your body is showing a feeling that needs attention long before your wallet. The scroll is rarely about the items. It's about the gentle hum of something to do while feelings settle. Pause here for a moment. Think of one purchase last month that surprised you afterward. Hold that memory gently. What were you feeling in the hour before? Tired, lonely, restless, anxious, or quietly trying to feel something? If you'd like, share one word for that feeling in the comments. Just one. It may help another viewer. There's something powerful about naming it. The feeling stops being a hidden driver and becomes something to sit with. Naming doesn't fix the feeling instantly. It just turns the lights on so you can see what moves you. Your honesty creates a kind of mirror for others. They read your word and quietly feel less alone. Now let's go deeper. Emotional spending isn't only about hard feelings. Good feelings drive purchases too in their way. Excitement can spend. A promotion, a milestone, a small win, and suddenly an urge appears to mark it. Hope can spend. A new chapter, a fresh start, a self you're stepping toward, arrives with a full cart. Identity can spend. Each purchase quietly answers the question, who am I becoming, and what does that person own? This is why some purchases feel less like buying. They feel more like becoming, like stepping into a self. That isn't shallow at all. It's deeply human. The desire to belong somewhere is older than commerce itself. The trouble isn't wanting to become someone. The trouble is asking a purchase to do work only time can. The work isn't to stop feeling. The work is noticing when feelings use money as their private language. Because often, what the feeling actually wants can't be bought. It wants to be felt, heard, or simply allowed. The cart can't give you rest. The new outfit can't give you belonging. The upgrade can't give you enoughness. Those feelings come from being known and being kind to yourself. They come from stillness, not from another purchase. They give you a moment, a flicker, a breath. Then the feeling returns, slightly louder, asking again for itself. This is the loop many people live inside. Not because they're foolish, but because no one taught them otherwise. So they keep knocking on the money door. It always opens. It's familiar, available, and the world points there. There's another quiet driver too, avoidance. Sometimes you spend not to feel better, but to not feel anything. Numbing isn't a moral failure. It's a survival reflex, especially if early life rarely felt safe to fully feel. The screen, the scroll, the checkout, the unboxing. Each step gives your mind a task, postponing harder feelings. It isn't laziness. It's a nervous system doing its job, choosing any path softer than sitting with discomfort. Understanding this changes everything. You stop being someone with a money problem, which was never your real story. You become someone with a feeling no one taught you how to hold. That self-image is gentler and truer. It's truer than the harsh stories you've told yourself, the ones about being bad or broken with money. Those stories were never accurate. They were just the easiest explanation a young mind found for an old pattern. You are not impulsive or weak or broken. You are fluent in a language no one ever named for you. Once it's named, it loses its grip. Not all at once, but slowly, like a tight fist beginning to relax. Think of your money habits as an old tape playing quietly. The volume drops the moment you actually hear it. That tape was recorded long ago by voices you didn't choose. Now you get to decide what plays next. Here's a small shift worth trying. Before any non-essential purchase, pause and ask one quiet question inside yourself. Not what do I want, not what's the price, just what am I feeling right here, right now. You don't need to answer perfectly. You don't need to stop the purchase. You're not controlling yourself. You're knowing yourself. Sometimes the answer is, I'm tired. Sometimes it's, I feel unseen. Sometimes it's, I want to feel hopeful again. Each answer is a doorway. Once you see the doorway, The purchase becomes a choice instead of a quiet reflex. Choice changes everything, even small choices where your relationship with money slowly begins to feel like your own. You may still buy the thing, and that's okay. You'll know what it's for, and that changes everything. Some purchases will quietly disappear from your life, not through willpower, but through clarity. The feeling found another way home. Other purchases will stay and feel even better. You bought them from a calm place, not a small storm. That's the real freedom around money. Not having more or spending less, but knowing which feeling is driving you. Be patient with yourself. Patterns built over decades don't dissolve in a weekend. They dissolve in small, gentle noticings. One pause, one breath, one quiet question. That's the whole practice. Nothing dramatic, nothing performative, no perfect self-control. You're not late, you're not behind. You're meeting a part of yourself that's been waiting quietly to be heard. You might notice old voices push back, calling this silly. Those voices belong to the imprint, trying to stay hidden. Let them speak, but keep listening underneath. The softer voice underneath is the one that's been waiting the longest. Try this gently tonight. The next time you reach for your card, take one slow breath before tapping anything. In that breath, quietly ask, what feeling is here? You don't need a perfect answer. The pause is enough. That tiny pause is where the imprint loosens, where the old tape stops playing, where you start choosing again. Over time, your purchases will start feeling more like you. Fewer apologies later, fewer hidden regrets, more quiet confidence. Money stops being where your feelings disappear. It becomes simply money again, useful, ordinary, and finally a little lighter. And you become someone who can feel a hard moment without needing to soothe it instantly with a purchase. You might also notice something else softening. Other parts of life feel calmer once money isn't carrying everything. Friendships feel less performative. Mornings feel less rushed. The background hum of small wanting begins to quiet inside. That's the deeper gift of this work. It looks like money, but underneath, it's about meeting yourself kindly. You've been doing your best with the imprint you inherited. Now you get to write a gentler one. There's no rush, no deadline, no grade. Just small moments of pausing, breathing, and choosing what you actually need. The imprint took years to form. Your new awareness can take its time too. Slow change is still real change. Every time you pause before buying, something shifts. You teach your nervous system you can be trusted. If something here landed, leave a note below sharing the feeling you most often spend from. Your honesty matters here. For more quiet conversations about money and inner life, subscribe and tap the bell. The next will find you. You came here looking at money. You're leaving knowing yourself better. That, more than any purchase, is real wealth. Your emotions will keep speaking gently and constantly. The question is whether they speak through your cart or you. They've been speaking your whole life. The only thing changing is who's quietly listening on the other side. And from here, you get to choose. Slowly, kindly, breath by breath, you become the one holding the pen.